Hey, 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 how's everybody doing? Come on in. Gonna be on just for a few minutes. So come on in for a quick chat on getting unstuck. Come on in, y'all. Hey, good evening. Come on in. Just gonna let a few other people join us for our conversation. Give me a shout out. Hey, Renee. Good evening. Hope you guys are having an awesome day today. I will say I made the mistake of working out before this live, and I am like a little tired. Hey, Sandy. So glad you joined us. If you guys know anybody who could benefit from this conversation, go ahead and tag them. Go ahead and share. I'm not going to be on here long with you guys, but I just wanted to just have a follow-up conversation. I missed last week, so we're going to kind of tap into where we were a couple of weeks ago about losing yourself and what happens. One of the main things that happens when we do that is we get stuck. So we're just going to let a few more people come on in as you're coming in. Thank you, Renee. ah, all right, all right. Well, let's get started. Welcome to my live tonight. We are talking about help. I am stuck. I am stuck. How many people have been stuck? How many of you guys have been stuck? If you see me looking back and forth, I'm trying to manage two devices. Hey, Yvette. Trying to manage two devices, trying to be grown and do this live thing for real. Um, but we're talking about being stuck, and really we want to talk about what we need to do to get unstuck. So Cornay says she's been stuck. Who else has been stuck? I can raise my hand and say I know there have been times where I have felt like I was stuck, and I want us to talk about it tonight. I want this to be engaging. I want you guys to talk back to me, even though you're on your computer and I'm over here on mine. I want you to talk back to me. So I'm going to be asking you some questions. So make sure you respond and type in the comments so we can just have a quick dialogue. So let me ask you this. Well, let me just kind of recap. So a couple of weeks ago, we talked about five indicators that you may have lost yourself, right? And we really dealt with in relationships. But no matter what type of the relationship is, if you have found, or felt that you have lost yourself, one of the main things that happens with that is that we feel stuck when we come out of that relationship, or when we come out of that situation, and we feel stuck, and it makes us feel like, well, who am I? Who is this person, right? And so we talked about some of the indicators of that, and I'm gonna just recap those for real quick, and then we're gonna really tie it into being stuck and what that means. So the indicators we talked about last time when someone is possibly losing themselves or has lost themselves is one, that they've lost their drive or their motivation, right? So they used to be all gun ho and was always, the life of the party, or always had all these goals and always ambitious. But then all of a sudden, because of either the relationship or something has happened, they've just kind of lost themselves, and you don't see that drive anymore. Another thing that happens, especially with women, is they no longer speak up for what they believe in. When you lose yourself, you no longer speak up for what you believe in. You've lost your voice, right? And you're so focused on taking care of everyone else. You're not focused on taking care of yourself, right? Or you can become a workaholic. That's the fourth thing that happens. That's an indicator, right? Just working nonstop, 3 and 4 jobs, or working 12, 13 hours a day, right? Just to not deal with life, right? But you lose yourself in your work, and you make excuses thinking, oh, I'm doing this for a good purpose, right? Or it's going to help me get out of debt, or whatever. I'm trying to make a name for myself and improve my career. But in reality, you are losing yourself, right? And then the fifth thing we talked about when a person has lost themselves or is losing themselves is that they never have anything good to say about themselves. They start to believe the lie. What lie? The lie that the enemy tells you, the lie that says you're not good enough, the lie that says you're not smart enough, the lie that says you'll never be successful, the lie that says that you'll always be fat, the lie that says, you'll never lose weight, the lie that says, whatever the lie is, right? You begin to lose yourself. And when you start to believe the lies about yourself, right? And when that happens, when those things happen, when you lose yourself, right, you end up getting stuck. So let's say you finally get out of that situation. Let's use me for an example. Like I tell my rise and shiners in the morning, I can only talk about myself, right? So when I was going through my divorce and when I was separated, I actually, realized that I had lost who I was in that time of marriage, right? I was so focused on trying to be the right wife, the great wife, and do everything right, that I ended up losing who Robin was. I didn't even know who I was, right? People would say, well, what do you like to do? I don't know, because I was always busy doing for somebody else. And so I had lost myself, right? And I didn't know what to do. And I felt stuck. I was like, how do I get this back? Right? Sandy, you've been there. All right. And so we've got to, as women, one of the things that I am really being intentional about, and what I want to do is help us as women to get from being stuck, to get from the place of being stuck to being stuck, to being unstuck. Right? Okay. So let me just going through my notes to make sure I'm covering everything. So now I got a question for you guys. When you think of the word stuck, or when you hear the word stuck, and good evening to those of you who have come on. When you hear the word stuck, what do you think about? How would you define it? What does that mean to you? I'm gonna give you guys a minute. I know it'll probably be a little delay on my end to type in your comments, but when somebody says, I'm stuck, right? What do you think about? What's the first thing that comes to mind? Yvette says immobile. Yep. Mm-hmm. What else? A deep hole. Ooh, that's good. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yep. So when you're stuck, you're immobile, right? When, or you're in such a deep place. Ooh, I like that, Crene. Bondage. Yep. You're immobile, you're in bondage, you're in a deep hole, right? It seems dark. It seems like, you just can't move, right? Excuse me. You have no options, right? Just think about it. I just feel stuck. That means I just don't see a way out. I don't have any options. I don't know which way to go. I don't know what to do, right? Think about when you say I'm stuck in traffic, right? So when we use the word stuck, it implies that at one point there was movement. I don't know if you guys ever thought about it like that, but at one point there was movement, right? Just like we talked about the woman before she lost herself, she was ambitious. She knew exactly who she was. She was always on the go, right? That's another good one, Sandy. Being stuck is like a mummy all wrapped up, because a mummy can't do too much, right? They're all wrapped up, right? And so at one point there was movement before we got stuck, before we made the statement out of our mouth, I'm stuck. There was movement, right? Like when we say I got stuck in traffic. At some point the traffic was flowing. Now that means that something happened. There was something that happened to cause the traffic to stop. Right? It could have been an accident, it could have been construction, but there was an impediment, right? There was something that broke in that changed things, that caused you to get stuck in traffic, right? Or sometimes we say we got stuck at work, right? I know for me, with teleworking, on the few days I have to go in, sometimes I end up being there longer than I anticipated, right? Because the boss throws, another assignment on you, right? So you say, I'm stuck at work. You couldn't leave when you wanted to. It means that something entered in to cause you to stop. When you're stuck, it's like you're cemented, right? When I looked up the word stuck, it pretty much says cemented in. When something is cemented, right? Once it gets hard, it's not going anywhere. It's stuck, right? And so when we're stuck, it's like we're cemented in that situation. Some women feel like they're stuck in a relationship or in a marriage, right? Because they don't have a job of their own, or because they don't have enough income, or because that husband or that man has said so much to them to cause them to believe the lie that they can't make it on their own. So then they're just stuck, right? People stay in marriages that they know are not beneficial, and they know are not going to turn around, but because they feel stuck, they feel cemented, they feel like there's no way out, right? But I want to encourage us on tonight that there is a way out. But we have to first realize the reason we get stuck is because we've forgotten who we are. We've forgotten who we are, and we have forgotten what we were created to be, who we were created to be. We have lost our authenticity, right? We get so busy trying to be somebody else, or follow somebody else, or do things like somebody else, or take care of somebody else, when we've lost ourselves, right? And then we get stuck. So what has to happen? We have to have a mindset shift. We have to change the way that we think about ourselves and the way that we see ourselves. And until that happens, it's going to be like we have been planted in cement. We are not going to be able to make a move. We're not going to be able to think clearly. We're not going to be able to make the right decisions because we are just stuck. My mentor has me reading. I'm actually in a group. She has us reading the book by Mark Patterson called Win the Day. And he shared in there a similar situation of a mother, a woman who had been married for several years, and she was always so busy about taking care of the kids and doing everything for the husband and around the house. And one day the husband said, "Let's all go to the library and pick out a book, And she said the kids went one way, he went one way, and she just stood in the middle of the library because she had lost herself. She didn't even realize what kind of books she liked to read. She didn't know what to do, right? So it's so important that we as women don't forget who we are and who we were created to be. We have a purpose and we have a plan. God has a plan for your life, right? Jeremiah 29:11. I know the plans I have for you, right? Plans of good, not of evil, to prosper and to reach what? Your expected end. There is a destiny that was already designed for you before you were even born, before you were even formed in your mother's womb. There was a destiny, there was a purpose set aside for you, right? But what happens is we allow the opinions of other people to distract us from our purpose. I saw a post today that said, don't forget, before their opinion, you had a purpose, right? We forget that. We get so caught up in what other people are saying or what they think that we forget that we had a purpose. We forget that we had some goals that we had set out. And I want to encourage you guys on tonight to know that you have a purpose. You were created to be authentically you. There is nobody else like you. There is nobody that can do what you have been called to do. And you have to remember that you are capable, but it's going to start with the shift in your mindset of thinking about who you are. You're going to have to start seeing yourself the way God said you are. You're going to have to start seeing yourself not as what your husband says, not as what your boss says, not as even what the world says, right? We're too busy sometimes trying to be like the world, and we're not supposed to do that. We're supposed to be our true, authentic self. And the only way we can do that is when we get connected to God, when we get connected to the source that already knew what his plan for our life was, right? So I'm just coming on tonight to encourage you guys and to kind of talk about this for a little bit. Sandy says being stuck is almost unfunctionable. It really is unfunctionable, right? You just for a moment in time, and sometimes it's longer than others, you cannot move. You cannot make a decision. You are literally stuck. You are literally stuck. It's like, being in an elevator and you get stuck in the elevator and you have to wait for somebody to come and fix it, right? Not a good place to be. Even Cornay said paralyzed. Yeah. And I've never been paralyzed, but just think about people who are paralyzed, but they have their sight. They can't move their arm or they can't move their legs, right? But they can see, and they still have all their other senses. That's painful. Even when you think about the word stuck, which is a past tense of stick, right? When you get stuck with a needle, there's pain, right? So being stuck, being in the posture of being stuck is not a fun position to be in. It's even painful. And so we have to, again, what I want us to understand is that we as women, we don't have to remain in that place. We were not created that way. We were created to be nurturers. We were created to be atmosphere shifters. So we don't have time to get stuck, right? Because we've got things to do. We've got places to be and people to see, right? Places to go and people to see. We do not have time to allow somebody else's opinion, what mom and them said, what so and so did. We don't have time to allow that to get us off course. We have to stay on the path that God has created for us. And that is where I come in. I want to let you guys know that on June the 11th, I'm going to be holding a masterclass. And earlier in the year, I got this title for the class, right? But I was thinking it was for something different, right? And I never could really get it off the ground. And then just today, God confirmed to me, okay, the information I gave you early on, back in the beginning of the year, now is the time for the master class. And it's called Plan, Pivot, and Execute, right? We as women, one of the reasons that we get stuck is because we don't take the time to plan, right? We just run off and start doing stuff. And then when we get to a point where we don't know what else to do, we're stuck, right? But we got to retract everything, and we got to start off. We've got to plan. We've got to learn to plan, and then we've got to learn to pivot, because sometimes within that plan, there needs to be a shift, right? But we can't get stuck at the pivot. From the pivot, we have to execute. But again, it all goes along with what we're thinking about ourselves, and how we are seeing ourselves, and how we are seeing the vision. That's right, Sarah. We have to set standards and boundaries, right, in order not to get stuck. And so, again, I'm having this masterclass on June the 11th, and it's called Plan, Pivot, and Execute. You'll have two options to participate in the class. I'm putting the link in the comments there for you to go and register if you're interested. And you can either just attend, the master class, or you can register for VIP access, and there will actually be a live Q&A after that, where you have an opportunity to ask questions and all of that. So I just wanted to come on real quick and talk about, being stuck and the importance of us as women getting unstuck. So I hope you guys got some nuggets tonight. Again, make sure you share the video for those that may not have been able to come on tonight. If you know somebody who's stuck and really could use some help, could use some coaching, getting unstuck, let them know about the masterclass. It'll be a good opportunity for them to get a little information about how to be unstuck, and then we can talk about some other areas and opportunities to even go deeper to help them get unstuck. And if that's you, go ahead and register. I guarantee you'll benefit from the course. But again, thank you guys for joining me on tonight. Hopefully, I can't tell for sure if my link took in the comments. Looks like it did. Okay. So yeah, all you have to do to register is go to my website, which is robinsmiley.com, and click on courses. If you click the link, it'll take you straight there, and you'll see the picture that says Plan, Pivot, Execute. Click that, and it'll take you straight to registration. Oh, good. Thanks, Cornay. Thank you. All right. Any questions, guys? Any additional comments before we jump off here? I'm gonna try not to rush because I know it's a delay with the comments with the platform I'm using. Okay, I guess we're good. Even if you have a question. Okay. All right. Thanks, Renee. All right, guys. Have an awesome evening. And I'll be back next. Well, no, I won't be back next week. I got a meeting next Thursday. I might be able to come on Friday or Wednesday. So I'm trying to come on and just talk to you guys each week about this. Oh, thanks, Yvette. Yep, I'm excited about it too. It's going to be good. So if I don't see, I know I won't see you Thursday. It'll be Wednesday or Friday of next week, and we'll pick up some more just to give you a little taste of what we're going to talk about in the master class and the actual full blown program that'll go along with that. So you guys have a great evening. And if you haven't joined us in the mornings, I'm on every morning, 6 a.m. with the Rise and Shine devotional. Check us out and start your day off in the Word and just be refreshed. But until then, until next week, if I don't see you guys in the morning, I will see you next week. And thanks for tuning in. All right. Bye-bye.